Imagine a path that leads not just to understanding but to complete transformation. A journey where every step reveals a deeper truth, and where enlightenment isn't just an idea, but a living experience. Welcome to Wisdom Arcana, where ancient wisdom meets modern insight. Today we explore the 7 stages of full enlightenment, a roadmap to unlocking the profound potential within each of us. But before we begin, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt a fleeting moment of clarity, an unshakable peace, or a sense that you're connected to something far greater? These are glimpses of higher states of consciousness, moments that can occur at any time. Yet, here's the secret. These states are only part of the story. True enlightenment requires a journey through stages, a step-by-step evolution of both human maturity and spiritual depth. So what separates those who glimpse from those who abide in enlightenment? And how do we navigate this path? Stay with me as we unravel the mystery of these stages, the milestones they represent, and how they guide us toward the ultimate realization of who we truly are. To truly grasp the 7 stages of enlightenment, we need to lay a solid foundation, a bridge between the profound insights of the East and the developmental frameworks of the West. Let's begin in the West, where thinkers like Jean Piaget, Abraham Maslow, and Lawrence Kohlberg studied the stages of human development. These scholars uncovered how we grow, physically, emotionally, and mentally. From infancy to adulthood, they showed how each stage builds upon the last, much like learning words before constructing sentences and paragraphs. But human growth doesn't stop at the mind. It extends into the realm of the spirit, and it is here, in the East, where we find a treasure trove of wisdom about states of consciousness, temporary experiences of freedom, unity, or transcendence. These states are fleeting, like catching a glimpse of a star through the clouds. They can be triggered by meditation, prayer, fasting, or even spontaneous moments of clarity. Yet, as profound as these states can be, they are not the same as stages. While a state might grant a brief experience of enlightenment, it is the stages of development that allow us to integrate and embody those experiences. Without this integration, even the most profound state can become confusing or destabilizing. Take, for example, Suzanne Segal, a modern mystic who unexpectedly experienced what some would call ego death. While waiting for a bus in Paris, she lost all sense of her separate self and entered a state of pure being. But without the developmental foundation to interpret or stabilize this state, she was thrust into chaos, struggling to make sense of her experience for years. This story highlights a critical truth. The stage of development we've reached shapes how we interpret and integrate higher states of consciousness. A child sees the world through one lens, while an adult sees through another, more complex lens. The same is true for spiritual growth. And it's not just individuals who go through these stages. Societies, cultures, and even philosophies evolve over time. In the West, for instance, postmodernism challenges traditional hierarchies and introduces the idea of interconnectedness, a concept that closely mirrors the Eastern understanding of states. In Zen Buddhism, this tension between stages and states is reflected in its 2 paths: the gradual path, which emphasizes steady progress through developmental stages, and the sudden path, where one leaps directly into higher states of realization. But which path is correct? The truth lies in the interplay between the 2. States offer glimpses of what's possible, while stages give us the capacity to live and grow within those possibilities. Finally, we turn to the groundbreaking work of Ken Wilber, the transpersonal philosopher who dedicated his life to mapping the interface between stages and states. He calls this the integration of waking up, achieving states of transcendence, and growing up, developing human maturity. Wilber's integral theory shows us that true enlightenment is not an escape from the world, but a journey through it, where we transcend and include each stage of growth. This foundation is the key to understanding the 7 stages of enlightenment. It's not a race to the finish line, but a process of evolving through layers of human and spiritual development, each one preparing us for the next. Now that we've laid the foundation for understanding enlightenment, it's time to embark on a detailed exploration of the 7 stages. These stages aren't just a theoretical framework, they're a living, transformative process that unfolds as we grow physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Each stage builds upon the last, like ascending a sacred staircase toward the ultimate realization of who we are. Let's begin at the very first step. The first stage of enlightenment is rooted in the physical. It begins the moment we enter this world, as we separate from the mother and start forming our individual sense of self. This stage is known as individuation. During this period, a child learns to connect with their body and the natural world. They develop a basic trust in life and a curiosity about their surroundings. It's here that the seeds of connection are planted, connection to themselves, to others, and to nature. Completion of this stage is marked by the child feeling secure in their body and at ease in their environment. They begin to experience a sense of belonging and joy in their interactions with the world. This stage lays the foundation for all that follows. As we move into the second stage, the focus shifts to emotional growth and socialization. This is a time of learning how to connect with others on a deeper level. Here we develop empathy and begin to understand the impact of our actions on those around us. It's a stage of forming relationships and discovering the importance of emotional sensitivity. Signs of completion at this stage include the ability to form meaningful and positive relationships. A child learns to work together with others, to share, and to care for their community. This emotional intelligence becomes a cornerstone of their development. The third stage marks the awakening of the thinking mind. This is the stage of mental growth and psychic integration. During this period, individuals begin exploring their inner psyche and developing their capacity for rational thought. It's a time of self-discovery, where questions arise about identity, purpose, and the world around them. At the end of this stage, the individual is fully prepared, physically, emotionally, and mentally, to engage with the world and begin a deeper spiritual journey. They are no longer bound by impulsive desires, such as those related to money, food, or relationships, but are instead ready to channel their energy into personal growth. The fourth stage marks the beginning of true spiritual life. It is the stage of spiritual surrender. Here, the individual starts to let go of the ego, the separate self, and offers themselves to something greater. This surrender is not about giving up, but about opening up, allowing the divine, the universal consciousness, or what some call God, to guide their life. This stage often involves devotional practices such as prayer, meditation, or acts of service. It's a time of building trust in the unseen and cultivating a deep connection to the sacred. Surrender at this stage is transformative. It marks the foundation for the higher stages of mystical exploration, ego death, and ultimately, enlightenment. The fifth stage is one of mystical exploration. This is where the individual begins to explore the unseen realms, diving deep into the mysteries of existence. Mystical experiences, visions, synchronicities, and profound insights become common. This is the stage of the seeker, the shaman, and the visionary. It is both awe-inspiring and deeply personal. At this stage, the individual begins to transcend ordinary perceptions of reality, uncovering deeper truths about the nature of existence. However, it is essential to navigate these experiences with discernment and balance, as they can be overwhelming if not grounded in earlier developmental stages. The sixth stage is the stage of ego death. It is here that the individual fully transcends the illusion of the separate self, realizing their true identity as one with universal consciousness. This stage is often described as the ultimate freedom, a state of profound peace and liberation. But it can also be challenging, as the ego resists letting go of its grasp on individuality. Completion of this stage brings the ability to abide stably in the realization of unity. It is no longer about striving, but about simply being existing as a harmonious part of the greater whole. The seventh and final stage is full enlightenment. Here, the individual not only realizes their oneness with the universe, but also embodies this truth in every moment of their life. In this stage, enlightenment becomes natural, a seamless integration of the physical and spiritual. The individual sees the divine in everything, recognizing that all forms, including themselves, are expressions of the same infinite source. This is the stage of living with open eyes, where life itself becomes a meditation, a prayer, and a celebration. It is not an escape from the world but an embrace of it, a recognition that the sacred exists in all things. And so, the 7 stages of enlightenment form a path, a journey through life's physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual dimensions. Each stage is a step closer to the ultimate realization of who we truly are. As we ascend this path, let us remember, enlightenment is not a race. It's a process of growth, reflection, and discovery, a journey to be savored, one step at a time. Now that we've explored the 7 stages of enlightenment, let's turn our attention to a profound truth about this journey: the relationship between stages and states. This interface is where spiritual transformation becomes real and lasting. It is the bridge between glimpsing higher realities and fully embodying them in our lives. First, let's clarify the difference. States are temporary experiences of higher consciousness. They are the fleeting moments when we feel connected to something greater, a sense of peace, freedom, or transcendence. These states can arise during meditation, prayer, or even spontaneously. Stages, on the other hand, are developmental milestones. They represent the steady, cumulative growth of our body, mind, and spirit over time. Here's the key: while anyone can experience a higher state, how we interpret and integrate that state depends entirely on our stage of development. Imagine a child gazing at the stars. They may feel awe, but their understanding is limited to their developmental perspective. An adult looking at the same stars might feel that same awe, but also reflect on the vastness of the universe, their place within it, and the beauty of existence. The same experience, 2 very different perspectives. But what happens when states and stages don't align? Consider someone who unexpectedly experiences a profound state of unity or ego death, yet lacks the developmental foundation to understand or integrate it. This misalignment can lead to confusion, instability, or even fear. Take the example of Suzanne Segal, whose sudden loss of ego left her struggling to make sense of her experience for years. Without the grounding of a higher stage, even the most profound state can feel disorienting, even distressing. To navigate this complexity, Ken Wilber's integral theory offers a powerful framework. He emphasizes 2 essential aspects of growth: waking up, which refers to achieving higher states of consciousness, those glimpses of transcendence and unity; growing up, which involves progressing through developmental stages, cultivating emotional, ethical, and spiritual maturity. Wilber teaches us that true enlightenment is not just about waking up. It also requires growing up, doing the inner work to embody higher states as enduring aspects of our daily lives. Wilber also highlights an important principle: growth happens through transcend and include. This means that each stage doesn't erase the one before it, it builds upon it. Rational thought doesn't eliminate emotion, it integrates it. Similarly, spiritual awakening doesn't reject the physical world, it includes and transcends it, creating harmony between all aspects of life. By understanding the interface between stages and states, we can approach the journey of enlightenment with wisdom and balance. States offer us glimpses of what's possible, and stages give us the capacity to live and embody those possibilities. So how can we take all this knowledge and make it practical? How do we apply the wisdom of stages and states to our everyday lives? The path to enlightenment is not just a theoretical journey, it's a living, breathing process. Let's explore 5 practical steps to integrate this journey into your life. First, embrace where you are. Every stage of development has its own lessons and gifts. There's no need to rush. Ask yourself, where am I in this journey? Am I focused on building emotional connections, developing mental clarity, or exploring spiritual surrender? Recognizing your current stage allows you to focus on the areas that need your attention most. Second, establish grounding practices. Spiritual practices are essential tools for growth. They ground us while helping us access higher states of consciousness. Meditation cultivates mindfulness and awareness. Prayer fosters a connection with the divine. Yoga aligns body and mind, preparing us for deeper spiritual exploration. Third, balance material and spiritual needs. The spiritual path doesn't mean abandoning the material world. Instead, it's about finding harmony. Ask yourself, are my relationships, finances, and physical needs balanced? Creating stability in these areas frees your energy for deeper spiritual growth. Fourth, cultivate emotional and social intelligence. Enlightenment isn't a solitary journey. Growth often happens in relationships. Practice empathy, patience, and openness with others. Let your interactions become a mirror, reflecting areas where you can grow. Fifth, reflect and integrate. Regular reflection is the key to lasting growth. Take time to ask, what challenges am I facing? What lessons am I learning? How can I integrate these lessons into my daily life? Through reflection, your experiences become wisdom, and each step on your journey becomes intentional. By integrating these practices, you align yourself with the natural flow of growth, allowing each stage and state to unfold in its own time. And so we arrive at the end of this exploration, a journey through the stages of enlightenment, the interplay of states and stages, and the practical steps for living a life of growth and purpose. Enlightenment is not a destination, it's a process. It's about honoring every moment, every challenge, and every insight as part of a greater unfolding. Today we've seen how the 7 stages guide us from physical individuation to the realization of unity with all that is. We've explored how fleeting glimpses of higher states can become lasting transformations when rooted in developmental growth. And we've learned how practical steps can bring the sacred into our everyday lives. As you move forward, take a moment to reflect. Where are you on this journey? What steps resonate most with your path? Remember, the light you seek is already within you. Enlightenment is not something you find, it's something you become. Thank you for joining me today on Wisdom Arcana. If this journey inspired you, subscribe to our channel for more explorations into the mysteries of life, philosophy, spiritual growth, and transformation. Until next time, remember, every step, every moment, is a step toward your true self.